Rachel Wall was executed in 1789 in Boston for the crime of highway robbery, but her tale begins much earlier. Rachel Wall was born in 1760 to parents living in Pennsylvania. Her father was a farmer and a devout Presbyterian. He raised her in the Christian faith, and this is something that, even up to her execution, she would lament that she did not follow in that path. While attending her grandfather's funeral in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Rachel met George Wall. He convinced her to run away with him. They eloped when she was only 16 years of age. They moved to Boston, and in Boston, she took a job as a maidservant on Beacon Hill. According to some reports, George Wall had a bit of a drinking problem, and one day, when he didn't show up for work on time, he said to Rachel, "Let's become pirates and fend for ourselves." This is where the story of Rachel Wall really begins. The plan was simple. George, Rachel, and their crew would take a schooner boat off the shores of New England. After a storm had passed, they would disguise the boat to look as though it had been devastated by the storm. Rachel would then yell out to lure in nearby ships. Upon seeing the devastation, and a woman in need, the captains would bring their ships very close. Once they were firmly tied together, George and his crew would then board the vessel and slaughter all of the men. If George and his crew were vastly outnumbered, they would lure the captain and his first mate into the lower deck of the ship on the pretense of investigating the damage. Once they were down there, George and his men would murder them and then deal with their crew likewise. The bodies were then weighted down, and the ship was destroyed, leading others to believe that it had been simply lost in the storm. It is estimated that George and Rachel were responsible for the death of some 24 men. The scheme worked well until George underestimated a storm in 1782. It is said that gale force winds wrecked the boat. George lost his life, but Rachel and a few men were able to make it to the shore safely. It is that event that led Rachel Wall to end her pirating career. She would then fend for herself on the streets of Boston as a small-time criminal. Rachel Wall has gone down in history as New England's only female pirate. Her story is fascinating, but we have to ask ourselves, is it true?